Good afternoon, this is David and I'm with Star, and our purpose for this little short video is to help you to do better at setting goals and resolutions. It's the middle of February in 2019 and most people who set resolutions, if they did, around New Year's Eve have probably stopped on them. In fact, research shows that about half the people who say they set a resolution at New Year's have quit within 1 month. And so Star is one of the reasons that I set a resolution 3 years ago, and I think this is a great example if you've got one that's really important to you. Anyway, she's hanging out with her friends, eating some hay. There's 6 horses out here, and the main reason I wanted to share this 7 steps to setting a resolution has been based on trying to do better in my own life, but also working with some veterans who had been homeless and they were trying to make comebacks, as well as some other people. So I've outlined that there are 7 basic steps. My friend and webmaster Kyle Kreider and I are putting this on right now, and he's going to show you where you can get this new plan book. It's only a handful of pages that helps you to outline goals for the 7 areas of life and 7 questions to answer if you're really serious about setting a resolution, or if you want to at least outline how you could do it and then use this as a tool to decide. Well, Star had been one of my horses years ago, and I only let her go because a couple of loving grandparents came to me out when I lived in Washington State. Their granddaughter's mother had died, and they asked to buy Star so they would all have a horse. But they kept a promise a few years later, I said, which was, if anything changes, let me know first. Well, they did, and the gentleman had gotten Parkinson's disease. So the question or resolution was whether or not to travel 2,500 miles round trip to go rescue or readopt this beautiful horse named Star. And I used this 7-step process to work through it because it was kind of a big decision. It was going to take 2 weeks, 10 days of travel, sleeping in my truck, going back and forth, and a lot of people were advising me not to do that. But one of the key steps that helped me decide will be important for you too. See, there are 7 basic steps to setting a resolution. The first is you answer, what's the mission, the main goal? And in this case, it's a question, to go get Star or let her go to another home. Then you outline the vision, which are the desired results if you're successful. And that's the tangible, like Star would be here, the various reasons that you've got in your own life, gaining or losing weight, overcoming a Goliath in your own life, which may be weight, or it may be a drug problem, or something that is holding you back from being your best self. Then you outline the plan, or what would be the solution. If I was going to do this, how would I go about doing it? But then you get to number 4, which is the most significant reason that most people stop on resolutions, and that's answering number 4, motivation. And there we're being clearly direct. What's my motivation for doing it? What are the results that will happen if I follow through? And also, what will happen if I don't? Well, the positive stuff you've got, gaining weight or losing weight, feeling better, and that sort of thing, as it applied to Star, was that she'd be here and I'd have this fabulous horse and the herd would be reunited. But what really pushed me over the edge to make this trip was that what could go wrong. And in this case, she might get adopted by somebody saying the right thing, but sometimes people will sell them or send them to a slaughterhouse for food and that sort of thing. But bottom line, I outlined this process to go get her. And it was, that gives sometimes if you got a big enough reason, you'll follow through more often on your resolutions, those big goals. So beyond that, number 5 in the step is decision. And once you've outlined what you want to do, what the results would be, how you would be successful if you decided to do it, and your big motivation, then you've got a decision to make. And I want to take a little pressure off of you. You can decide to absolutely commit if that's what you want to do, but sometimes we're not 100% sure we want to commit. So it's okay to make a decision such as, well, I'm going to give this 30 days, or I'm going to, or to a certain point, and then decide if you're really ready to commit the rest of the way. You might do that in terms of a diet or a career choice, or thinking about a career or something like that. Number 6 is very important. I learned this from Peter Drucker, author of The Effective Executive. He set up structures. How would I go about being successful with this? And this is also one of the big 3 why people fail. You say you're going to do something, but then you got to decide how many hours would it take. I mean, you're going to be doing something, let's face it, that you were not doing before. You would have already probably done this. So if it's like going to graduate school at night, you may decide, well, I've got to go to class 2 nights a week and do some study on the weekend. And so how would I go about carving out 10, 15, maybe even 20 hours in an already busy schedule to make that happen? And then that helps you decide whether or not it's worth it or not. Can you redefine balance for a while to be able to do that? And what I mean by redefine balance, you might have to decide where you're going to graduate school for 2 years, that you're going to define balance and maybe have to ask a spouse to help with the kids, or you may have to not do some things that you sometimes do for a while in order to make this commitment to get to the next level in your education and your career. So that's a big one, setting the time priorities. And also, one that's often overlooked that's really important is to set up a simple assessment, a process of assessment and accountability. So that may be, you may say, if it's really important, I've set this goal to go get star, or to go lose 20 pounds this year, or something like that. And you go to a friend or a mentor and you say, you can hold me accountable to this, or will you be my accountability partner and check in with me every day or every week or once a month or whatever you decide to do. I'm reminded now of 2 books that were written using this process after the 9/11 attacks on America. Colonel Stretch Dunn, deceased in 2017, was a West Point graduate and retired Army officer. And he and I used this 7-step process that you're going to see in this plan book to work through the outline, the basic questions, or answers to those 7 questions. And then he and I agreed that we were going to be accountability partners. We even signed it and dated it, that we were going to spend so many hours per week. We're going to meet once a week to review progress and plan for the next week. And I'll tell you, if you want to really get serious about a goal, you get you an accountability partner with somebody that you don't want to disappoint, that you respect enough to keep your word to them. And that's really what you're doing when you set an appointment. Setting an appointment with yourself can work, but most people, until they're really, really mature and good at their personal leadership, will do better if they set an appointment or a commitment with someone else. Well, anyway, the trip was made 3 years ago. Went out there, took 10 days of travel, 5 nights out, 5 nights back, averaging about 400 miles, and she's back. And it was one of the hardest things I've done in my adult life, but I'm so grateful for it. Now let's focus on you. The big goal here is for you to think about maybe something that's important in your life. It may be a big project, or something like going to finish a college degree, or to get a job, or to apply for a new job, or to maybe look at something that's holding you back. It may be a habit you have, like smoking or drinking excessively. It might be about one of the big 3 is getting you better health and or losing weight so you'll feel better and look better and all of that. It may be something like anger management or something like that that's really big, that's holding you back and affecting the relationships of people that you care about. But if you've got a Goliath like that, don't just think about it and talk about it at some New Year's Eve party. If you're really serious about it, work through those 7 steps. And even if you decide that the answer is no, I'm not willing to do it right now, or I might need to postpone, that's still good, because you can let go and focus on something else for a while. But generally, if you want to increase probability and you're really serious about something like a horse is important to you, or maybe it's a job or doing something for your family, that's number 4, the motivation part is huge. That's where grit comes from. Grit's one of the strongest determinants about whether or not people graduate high school or college or finish degrees. But for some of us, it's just about having better habits, setting up appointments to focus on things and giving us a chance to work on them. Like, if it's getting in better shape, it may be carving out some time at lunch or before work or after work or something like that. Maybe something simple. Graduate school, setting aside blocks of time for class and study on the weekends. But whichever one that you need, if you go to that plan book and outline those 7 questions, doesn't have to be pretty, just outline it, and then get to the place, and then you decide whether you're really going to try it for a while or commit to it fully or decide to postpone. You will do better about achieving more of your goals. Well, Kyle's going to post the link
where you can go to that plan book. There's also a place in there that you can outline goals for the 7 areas of life. If you want to go that route, you can outline your goals and then pick at least one that you want to be your resolution. But let us know if we can be helpful. We're at drdaviddyson.com. That's my professional practice, but we have a nonprofit called Life Leaders America, where our main mission is helping people to plan and lead their lives, and a few other core goals. We hope this has been helpful, and thanks for listening to Star and Me.